Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anne and today I'm going to give you my June TBR. So, my June TBR. I should preface this by saying that setting monthly TBRs for myself is a pretty new thing to me. I always used to be much more of a mood reader, as in I finished a book and at that moment I would pick out a new book and I'd have my entire range of unread books to choose from. But I've set a TBR for myself for these past 2 months, for April and May, and also for January, I believe, and it's actually been working pretty well for me. I think I read more when I set a TBR for myself, and it isn't as restricting as I thought it would be. I thought at first that I wouldn't like setting a TBR and having to read the books on there. But it turns out that there's actually a sense of anticipation that comes with that. When I'm reading a book, I'm already excited about the next book I know I will be reading, instead of panicking about having to choose the next book from all of my unread books. So it's been working really well. I'm also going on holiday halfway through June and I haven't really taken that into account in this TBR. We're traveling by train. So I need to have a few books that are easy to carry with me. So no huge hardbacks, for example. And then of course there's also the fact that June is Pride Month. And I've seen a lot of booktubers take that into account for their June TBRs. And I thought I want to do that as well. So I've picked out a couple of books that fit with the LGBTQ+ theme. Anyway, enough rambling. Without further ado, here is my June TBR. First on my list was Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is a sci-fi book, the first one in the Aurora cycle, and it came out early in May. I was really excited to pick this up. It's pretty huge though, which I wasn't expecting when I pre-ordered it. So it's not really handy for me to take this one with me on vacation, and it's also not LGBT+. And then last night, the evening before I wanted to film my June TBR, I found out that one of the other books on my TBR, that's been on my shelves for quite some time as well, and that is also sci-fi, is LGBTQ+, and a lot smaller. And that one is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This one has been on my TBR now for quite some time as well, and I've really wanted to pick it up, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And this seems like the perfect moment, really. I didn't know it was LGBTQ+, but that makes me even more excited to read it. So, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet is the first book in the Wayfarers series. I believe it's a trilogy, but I'm not completely sure. This one follows the crew of the Wayfarer, which is a spaceship that has seen better days, and that reminded me of Firefly, which is always a good thing. From what I've heard, this book is really character-driven, which I really like in a book, and I've also heard nothing but good things about it, so I'm really excited to pick this one up, and I think this will be one of the books I take with me on vacation. And then I'll just move Aurora Rising to the top of my list for July, I think. The next book on my TBR is Proud, which is an anthology of short stories and poetry written by LGBTQ+ YA writers, and it also features art done by members of the LGBTQ+ community as well. I believe Alice Oseman has also done some of the art for this book, and all of it is on the theme of pride. I didn't know anything about this book, I hadn't heard of it before, but then I came across it in my local bookstore on a table that was dedicated to pride. And it immediately caught my eye because of the cool cover, and then I saw what it was about, and I immediately knew I wanted to read this one in June for Pride Month. It seems like such a cool collection, and I'm really excited to pick it up and start reading it. Next up on my TBR we have Only Ever Yours by Louise O'Neill. This is a bit of a surprise pick, for me at least, because this book has been on my TBR for 2.5 years now, I think. A good friend of mine gave this book to me for my birthday 2.5 years ago, and it's been on my shelves ever since, and honestly I kind of keep forgetting about it. Sometimes when I look at my shelves I notice this one, I think, oh yeah, sure, I had that one too. but it's never really been at the back of my mind as one of the books I want to read soon. But then Sarah from Commas and Ampersand announced that she was going to host her own readathon. Blessed be the readathon, it's called, inspired by The Handmaid's Tale, and this was one of the books on her TBR. The readathon runs from Monday the 3rd of June until Sunday the 16th of June. And like I said, it's inspired by The Handmaid's Tale, and Sarah has come up with a couple of cool prompts for this theme. And I'll put the link to her announcement video in the description or somewhere on the screen. I haven't figured that out yet, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm not planning on fully participating in the readathon since I'm going on vacation halfway through, I believe. But I figured it would be fun to read at least one book as part of the readathon. And when she mentioned this one being on her TBR, I knew I wanted to read that one as well. So the premise of Only Ever Yours is actually quite similar to The Handmaid's Tale, only I think this one is young adult. The story of this book is set in a dystopian world where the fates of girls are pretty grim and dark and awful. If a girl is lucky, she ends up becoming a companion to a rich man, and she can live with her husband and breed sons for him until she is no longer useful. So that's the lucky option. The unlucky option is becoming a concubine or a teacher. Either way, it's pretty dark. It also fits at least one of the prompts Sarah has set for the readathon, which is a book set in a dystopian world, but I think it also fits one of the other prompts, which is a book about or featuring feminism. It sounds really interesting, and I'm glad I'm finally picking it up after it being on my shelf for so long. The next book on my TBR is Autobiography by Christina Lauren, which is another LGBTQ plus book. I've seen it around in the bookish community a lot, but I don't really know that much of what it's about. I believe it's about two boys who meet in a writing class and both of them are trying to come to terms with their sexuality, but that's basically all I know. I'm actually going to be listening to the audiobook for this one, which is why I don't have a physical copy. I'm really looking forward to this one as I've been eyeing it for quite some time now, and Pride Month seems like the perfect time to finally pick it up. So those are the 4 books I've picked out for my June TBR. I'm also still currently reading this one, which is Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder by Joanna Fluke, and it's about as ridiculous as you'd expect. But it features a bakery and there's a murder to be solved, so I'm having fun with it. Currently I'm on page 117 and it's about 300 pages long, and so I think I can finish it in a few days. I was really excited to pick this up just because of the baking aspect and the murder thing. It seemed like fun, and there are, I believe, at least 25 other books in this series, but I'm not going to read the rest. It's fun, but I'm mostly just making fun of it a little bit, I have to be honest, while I'm reading it. And there are so many other books I want to read that I do expect to be really good and to move me, so after I'm done with this, I'm done with this. So those are the 5 books I definitely want to read in June, but I think I'll be able to read more than these 5 books, since like I said I'm going on vacation and I'll have time on the train to read or listen to an audiobook, and I'll have lots of time to read as well during said vacation. I haven't really picked any other books out yet. I do have a couple of options. I'm considering Normal People by Sally Rooney, which people are raving about and which has won some awards, I think. It sounds really cool, so I definitely want to pick that one up soon. And another option I have is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, which I still haven't read. I got a copy of it from Inge from Of Wonderland in December, I believe, and I haven't picked it up yet. But it's also LGBTQ+, so that makes it a great read for this month as well. So perhaps I'll take this one with me on vacation too. I've got some good options for audiobooks as well. I'm considering What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera, or The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Anyway, there's lots to choose from. I'm really looking forward to this reading month. I think I've picked out some really good books and I'm really excited to read them. I hope you liked this video. Let me know what you are planning on reading in June down below in the comments, or if you've read any of the books I have on my list for this month. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or even subscribe if you'd like, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye!